Hey, what's going on, guys? Sean Mathis here, CEO and founder of the Agency Alliance. And it has been a long time since we have done a webinar like this with some of our members who are willing to showcase some of what they've learned with our programs and give agents out there some direction and how these guys, these top agents, are able to build such massive agencies and get so much success going in their local markets and using our strategies and really leveraging the power of social media and the internet to really dominate not only in the insurance space but as just true market leaders and really bringing extreme value to their mortgage partners and real estate agent partners that they work with. And we've got today Bill, Chad, and Anthony. These guys have been with me for quite a long time and are some of our top members. And just to kind of give you guys a rundown on who they are, we've got Anthony. He's been in the insurance industry for 6 years, and in 2016 he went and opened up his own Allstate agency, and he's been doing that. He's had some great success with our program, and just watching Anthony grow over the last 6 to 8 months within our program and really taking a solid agency and taking it to the next level with our strategies has been truly amazing. He's part of several different Allstate groups online. He's such a giving agent. He's always out there helping some of our members. He helps other agents out there learn how to take what he's learned and implement it into their agency. He's become a top mentor in our program. He regularly generates over 100 leads a month, and he's just one of the most creative marketers that I've ever seen. We've got Chad, he was with Allstate for 12 years and was named a top 100 agency there. He's in Alabama. Anthony, by the way, is in Texas, in South Texas. Chad's out of Alabama, was with Allstate for 12 years. He went to the independent route, what we call the dark side, in 2015, and he's been with me almost since the inception of his independent move. And Chad has just been one of those guys. When I initially met Chad, I was like, oh man, here's a good old country boy who I don't know how well this cutting edge technology is going to go over with this guy. But man, it has been amazing to watch him just absolutely explode his agency. And again, he's been one of the top mentors in our program. He helps agents from all over the country leverage his experience and being a top 100 agency with one of the top carriers in the nation is just an incredible. He has an incredible amount of knowledge on how to build a strong agency, how to treat customers, systems and processes, how to go take everything that he learned in that captive world and then bring it independent, and then take all of the internet marketing and social media strategies that he's learned with us and just take things to the next level. He works really closely with mortgage lenders, real estate agents, and other business partners in his market, and just really helps them take their business to the next level. And so he's going to be able to share some of his knowledge and insight with you guys to help you know what the right direction is for you in 2017. He's also named a platinum agency for Travelers, which is very tough. Only the top percentage of agents are ever able to get that award in the independent world, so that's a big deal as well. And then we've got Bill, who I call the grandpa of Agency Alliance, not because he's old, but because he's been with us for so long. He's probably one of the most senior tenured members in our group here at the Agency Alliance, and he's just helped so many agents along the way. He takes what he learns with me and he just molds it into his own fashion to grow his agency. I actually met Bill through one of the top top real estate agent out in St. Louis, and who has a brokerage, and we were mutual friends. We went through a program with Frederick Eklund, and he introduced me to Bill, and Bill jumped on ever since, and he's rolled with us through almost every program that we've ever put out. And he's been in the insurance business for 11 years. He spent 6 years with a Fortune 500 company as a trainer and mentor. So I think that helps him when he comes into a group like ours. He just takes that natural leadership position and really helps people to grow their agency. He spent 6 years doing that, and the last 5 years he spent growing his own agency. And he works with several different carriers, and he'll tell you a little bit more about his business as he goes. But he was named Small Business Best in Value 2014, 15, and 16. He's a 5-star. He got a 5-star agency award in 2015 and 16, and he's been a top new business carrier for our top new business agency for Travelers, Safeco, and Nationwide. So these guys just crank out a ton of business. They have a wealth of industry experience and knowledge, not only in how to leverage social media and internet and technology to generate leads and become marketing pros, but just business in general and how to grow an insurance agency. So it's a pleasure to have these guys with us and being willing to share this. You know, when I was in the insurance business, it was rare to ever have anybody that had more experience than you that was doing great that would be willing to share how they're able to get where they're at. You know, it seems like in this day and age, so many agents are, you know, they're just keep everything close to the chest. They don't tell anybody what they're doing. If they find something that works well, they don't tell anybody about it. But these guys not only help everybody in our group, but they take this and you know, these guys invest thousands of dollars every year in learning how to market and generate leads and grow their business. And they take that and they invest it into their referral partnerships in the real estate space, the mortgage space, and have really brought extreme value to the marketplace like no other agent has been able to do in their markets. And so it's no wonder that they come in. They're a breath of fresh air in this business, and their referral partners absolutely love working with them. And they're going to share some strategies with you today on how they were able to do that. So I really appreciate you guys taking time for us today. I know that you guys are all extremely busy, and you certainly weren't paid to do this, nor did you have to do it. So thank you so much, guys.
Absolutely.
Definitely.
All right, so Chad, let's start with you, boss. You know, you've had a successful Allstate agency that you sold, and you're now independent. You know, that's a daunting process. I can speak from experience. I think at some point every captive agent looks to go independent. They kind of play with that a little bit, and there's only a select few who actually make that jump, especially after 12 years. So, you know, I think that goes to show that, you know, you've got a vision for what you want to do with your agency, and you're willing to do whatever it takes to get there, to have the best experience for your clients and for your referral partners alike. You and I have worked together almost from the beginning of your independent move. Tell us a little bit about your agency and, you know, what's changed since going independent after 12 years with Allstate, and how things are different for your client experience, and really what separates you from other agencies out there.
You know, I'm glad you asked that. I get that question a lot from other captive agents. And one of the biggest things that I really like better about the independent world and why it's a better fit for me is choices. I began to track a few years before I sold my agency the amount of business I was losing due to rate increases, or losing due to claims, or losing for whatever reason. And alongside that, I also tracked how much of that business that I would send as a referral partner to an independent agent. And after about 2 years of tracking, I sat down and almost fainted at how much business was going out the back door or was going into his pocket. And when you're captive, your carrier will only accept so much and will only do so much. And you get that nice letter to your customer saying, you know, here's your big rate increase, or here's your cancellation. If you have any questions, call your agent. And at the end of the day, the agent has no control over that. There's really nothing they can do but discuss higher deductibles, lower limits, and quite honestly put you in a position of doing things that I'm not comfortable with doing to keep a customer. So I started to look around at other independent agents I knew and how they ran their business and what their business was like. And I knew that if I was going to flourish to the size of the agency I wanted to have, there was no way I could do that under the captive model with the losing customers, no matter what you do. I can keep customers based on me and based on my service, but I can't make somebody pay 3 times more for their insurance. So I made the move to the independent, and what's different is we have a wealth of choices. Now if a customer gets a rate increase or gets a letter that they're being canceled, which I will say very rarely happens in Alabama in the independent world, but if that does happen, it's no longer a conversation of, well, I apologize, there's nothing I can do, and that customer leaves. I now can say, well, let's look at my other 10 companies or 6 companies or whatever, however many there may be for that product. And my retention has shot completely through the roof because I no longer have customers walking out the door over factors I cannot control. I now can control where that customer goes and what that customer does, and create an experience and a thought process in that customer that if something happens, they don't have to call State Farm. They don't have to call another company Chad's going to take care of that because Chad has options and he has my best interest in mind, and their thought never goes to leaving my agency. So with the 4 staff people I have in place and the marketing that we do, I can retain customers over the long haul and give myself a much better chance of reaching that huge agency number that I have in mind that I want to reach at some point in my career.
Awesome. Well, and since joining the Agency Alliance, you spent a lot of time and a lot of money perfecting the art of lead generation and growing your agency and really getting on the cutting edge of things. I'd say one of the slowest industries to adopt to technology is got to be the insurance industry. I mean, it's left unchanged for probably the last 3 decades. It's really been just something that customers have to have, and there hasn't really been a client experience like you talk about in decades. And from a referral partnership standpoint, it's been really difficult for insurance agents to network in the community and have really solid referral partnerships, especially as insurance companies continue to broaden their product and service offering. Sometimes they're getting into bank products and they're getting into financial services and investments, and so that really starts to cut off a lot of the referral partnerships that you're able to have, making it really difficult for agents to network and really build that referral business within the community. But you've spent a lot of time with real estate agents and mortgage lenders, as well as other business partners, and a lot of insurance agents are going after these same types of businesses for referral partnerships. And I know this was a part of your business model before starting with Agency Alliance, but how has your value proposition changed now that you have the tools in your tool belt when it comes to marketing and digital media, and you have now you don't have the big name behind you, but you've got the flexibility and the freedom to shop the market, so to speak. How does your value proposition change for your referral partners?
There's 2 major ways that it's changed for me. One of the biggest ways that I'll touch on very briefly is I no longer have the same parameters as a lot of captive agents in writing property. I had a big referral base built up with some LOs and realtors with Allstate, and when Allstate made a rule change and said that we couldn't write property without having their cars, I lost almost all of them because some people just didn't want you to quote their cars. Sometimes you were more expensive. For whatever reason, I couldn't write monoline property. So one of the biggest value propositions I have in my area is I can write monoline property. I don't have to have their cars. They can get a quote from me. I can write the house, and I don't have to have another piece of business in order to do that. Now, I do go after and close about 87% of that business afterwards, but it's not something that has to happen, so the loan process is much smoother because they don't have to wait for me to try to sell them another policy before they can close their loan. The other way is the old way that I was taught, the old way that I did was donuts, business cards, handshake, candy. I mean, every agent out there can tell you that ad nauseum. And what I found here in my market was there were people that were paying for the referrals, and it's just not a way I wanted to set up my business. I did not want to get in a situation of having to shell out a lot of money. And there are laws that say how much you're allowed to pay, and there's a lot of agents that operate outside of that law, and I didn't want to do my business that way. So what Agency Alliance has done, I'm now allowed to go into those same mortgage people and say, hey, I'm not going to pay you for them. I'm not going to bring donuts by here because last time you told me you were on a diet and you didn't want to eat them anyway. I'm going to give you free leads. And most loan officers will tell you they're paying sometimes $40, $50, $60 a good lead when they get one. They're very expensive for those guys. So lead generation is something that they just go crazy trying to figure out how to do. I can now walk into an LO or a real estate agent and say, hey, I'm going to give you free leads that I generate on social media. These are people that are looking to buy a house, looking to refinance, looking for a home loan, and in return, just give me your insurance referrals. And the crazy part is once you do that and you get that started with a couple of LOs, they begin to talk to other people they know, and I actually have LOs that contact me through those people wanting me to do the same thing for them. So it's an absolute game changer to use what we learn and what we teach in Agency Alliance, because my value is 10 times higher than any guy that can bring donuts or even pay $25. Because if I paid you $25 for a referral, that's $25. if I give you a loan and you close a $200,000 loan in Alabama, you just made $2,000 off of something that didn't cost you a dime. So it has absolutely revolutionized what I do with my referral partners.
Yeah, and I think you bring up a good point. When I was selling insurance, I remember, working a lot with the car dealers, apartment complexes, mortgage lenders, real estate agents, and when you're finding out who they're referring their business to, I was finding that there were agents out there who were paying $25 to $50 for a quote, and I remember talking with a top producing loan officer who was telling me, we had a meeting. He said, I've been using this insurance guy for the last 6 or 7 years, and he gives me probably 3 or 4 referrals a year from refinances from his clients and stuff like that. And I know that you work with a lot of other real estate agents and loan officers. So how do you separate who's going to get what, and are you able to really reciprocate for all these people that you're working for? Because I really want somebody who can send me some referrals to their customers as well. And I was like, I could absolutely send you 3 or 4 referrals from my customers if that's what you're looking for. I can help you with that. But what I look to do is help you not only grow your business, but connect with more real estate agents. Like, I was thinking on a much bigger level. What I would rather do, rather than send you 4 referrals, is connect you with 4 or 5 real estate agents who can send you 3 or 4 referrals a month. That's kind of the mind frame that I was working from. And you say, wow, I never thought of that, and I've never had an insurance agent even propose that. So I think the whole concept of buying, paying people off, or taking them to golf outings, or sending them stress balls, or bringing them lunch, or whatever the case may be. I think we tend to think as insurance agents that we can buy our way to a referral partnership, and what people really want is they want reciprocity and they want value. And like you said, the value that you're able to bring when you can actually grow somebody's business, you can actually impact their bottom line, that's a big deal. And there's not very many people who can do that. A lot of people will set up coffee meetings and say, I want to learn about your business, I want to help you grow your business. And really what that means is say, I'm trying to figure out a way, what can I give you to help you grow my business? And they really don't have any means to even deliver on what it is they're saying. So I think you bring up some really valid points there. Before we let you go, man, you've got a wealth of experience. You've done a lot in your career. What advice would you give insurance agents that are looking to grow their business in 2017?
My answer to that would have to be twofold, and a lot of it would be geared toward the captive agents. And I've said this numerous times, even while I was a captive agent, and my answer would be not to drink the corporate Kool-Aid. It doesn't matter if you're a captive agent or an independent. All of those companies can come tell you how you should be selling policies and how you should be running your business and how much money you should be spending on everything. Don't drink the Kool-Aid. Sit down and analyze your business based on where you want to go and get a clear picture of where you're headed, and then back into how you're going to get there, and then look and see what's available to you. Agency Alliance has revolutionized how much money I spend. I used to spend $8,000 to $9,000 a month on marketing. Now I can spend a third of that and write twice the business I did off of $8,000 a month. So don't buy into what the companies tell you with the internet leads and get that direct mail out there and get all that stuff. If you want to do some of that, that's fine, but do it because you decided to do it and decided you can afford it and spend your money on it and made a rational decision instead of just doing it because corporate told you to. That will help you sustain yourself long from now instead of being 6 months in and going, I'm $80,000 in debt, I can't hire anybody, and my business is going to close if something doesn't change. So get a clear picture, don't drink the Kool-Aid, and figure out how you're going to get there and be smart with your money.
Man, I think that's awesome advice, man. I really appreciate that. If folks want to connect with you that are watching this, what's the best way to reach out and connect with you, Chad?
That'd be in my email. It's Chad Hutchins, ChadHutchens, @gmail.com.
Awesome, man. Again, I really appreciate your time, man, and all the insight that you give. I think it speaks volumes to your character. So listen, guys, if you're in Alabama and you're a business owner, you do yourself a big favor by connecting with Chad. He's, like I said, he's top agent. And really, guys, it doesn't matter, like he said, whether you're captive, whether you're independent. What at the end of the day, what people are doing is they're buying you. Wherever that shingle is, they need to know that you're genuine and you're clear about what you want, and you're able to actually deliver on what you say you're going to deliver to these referral partners. And these three guys right here, they deliver above and beyond anything that I've seen when it comes to insurance agents delivering value to the referral partners. So thanks a lot, Anthony Voss. We haven't had a whole lot of time to talk with you yet, but you've been with Allstate since 2016, mid 2016, and you just came on the scene crushing it, man. You joined our program. I think originally you started out with our managed services division. Right away, you were like, man, I got to learn how to do this. You jumped in with both feet, learned how to take the marketing and out of the direct mail and out of Chance's hands, and took control of it yourself, and have just been absolutely killing it when it comes to marketing and lead generation for your agency. You've got an amazing team there, and I work with a lot of Allstate agents that come through, especially the new Allstate agents, and they're just struggling. And in fact, I hear a lot of people all over the country who are singing the blues because of rates or corporate changes, this and that. And you just seem to have a completely different outlook on the industry, on your agency, and so I wanted to find out a little bit about that. Texas is a huge market, and you guys are doing things quite a bit differently than other agents out there. So tell us a little bit about your agency and what it is that separates you from all the other agents out there.
Yes, sir. So Sean, I mean, like you said, I came in 2016, and I'm in San Antonio, Texas, and what I like about what I've come through with Agency Alliance, and I want to kind of touch on something Chad said, is when I came into the business, I was told, you need to spend X amount of money on web leads, on mail outs, to diversify all these different avenues, and take donuts, deliver, shake hands, kiss babies, all that fun stuff. And really, the thing to me was, if I continue to buy leads at $6,000 a month, I'm not going to be able to afford to pay my employees. I'm not going to be able to grow my agency at the pace that I want to, whether with an enhanced commission or standard commission. It doesn't really matter. When you're putting that much out on leads and you're not getting that return on investment, it puts to me kind of a chokehold on you. So the biggest things for me is, what I do is any opportunity that I market, whether I'm giving something away, giving back. I'd rather be able to give back to my community than pay another lead service. And I say that from the standpoint is, if I can give back to my community and generate a lead, I'm going to. Because of some of the things I've learned through Agency Alliance, I've been able to give back to the high school that I went to. I ran a campaign offering to donate $10 for every quote that I got. And I did that all through social media. And to me, that was fulfilling, to be able to give back to the community that helped mold me to the person I am today. Ultimately, when you say how do I do things, or how I do things in my business, I really focus on targeting my ideal customer, and focusing on making sure that I'm providing the opportunities to my team, not just another lead. And what I say by that is, there's so much information out there through social media that people put out there, voluntarily, and it allows you to find what you consider your ideal customer, so that you're not saying, well, all these people that I'm targeting right now are coming back, and it's not the kind of lead that I want. Well, I control the lead that I want, the person that's coming in and we're quoting. If I want a different lead source, I control every aspect of it. I don't have to pick up a phone call. I just gotta click the mouse and a few strokes of the keyboard. So when you say, well, what are you doing differently? I'd say I'm sitting in the driver's seat on everything I do when it comes to marketing and lead generation, and that's really the difference to me between spending $5,000 a month or spending $700 to $800 a month on the high end.
Yeah. So I want to ask you, as a newer agency, that's where I find that, as Chad said, that the Kool-Aid is drank more, probably more in the first 3 to 5 years than anything, and they try to follow the step-by-step model that whatever training system they went through provides, and the truth is that those models really haven't been changed in quite a long time. And what I've seen you do is be able to take that model and put a 21st century spin on it, and really make it your own. And like you said, just take total control of that process, all in an effort to free up more time, energy, and money to give back to your community, give back to your high school, and really just create an environment that's completely different for the consumer than anything else. One of the things that I really enjoyed about selling insurance and working with the referral partners was the way that I was able to set up my sales process and how streamlined and efficient working with me was, which is something that they really liked. And being able to send their referral to somebody who could not only be convenient with technology, streamlined, make the process quick and easy, but also have that personalized service that that they really want. And I think that's where there's been this big disconnect in the insurance industry, is you've got these internet giants who do a great job at being convenient with their mobile apps, and being able to quote and bind coverage without ever speaking with an agent. They can make the process really quick, but there isn't the personal service and the oversight that I think is really important in the insurance industry. And that's something that I've been able to see you do, is really take the model of being that expert and being that that trusted advisor that people need, but also being able to leverage technology to make the process quick, easy, and efficient for not only the referral partners but for the customers at large. So I really commend you on that, man. It's been awesome watching you. Texas is a really competitive market, and I think as a new agent, others that watch this may want to say, what is it that you're doing different in this competitive environment that's helped you be successful?
Well, I'll tie it to the ease of doing business. The easier it is to do business with you, the more results you're going to get. And I can tell you, I think technology and the ease of doing business is really what's helped me stand out in the Texas market. And I want to give you an example. Because of some of the things that I've taken from Agency Alliance and through just working with some of the top agents across the country, such as Chad and Bill, I was able to land the largest motorcycle dealership west of the Mississippi River, and have a physical location in their dealership, because they were looking for an insurance agent, because their clients come in needing insurance, and if they don't have it, it makes it hard for them to walk out the door with that bike. So it was a matter of changing the way they do business, and I literally have a form set up where they go sit down at a computer, fill out that form, and I call them with a quote. While they're over there shopping for their motorcycle gear now. So, to me, it's really revolutionized the way that I do business, and anything that I can do to make it easier for a client to transition into my agency, the better it is for me and the client themselves. Because ultimately, it's 2017. People are all over the place. They're mobile. I sit behind a desktop because it's the systems that I have in place. If I could do it on mobile, I probably would do it on mobile. And I think it's being able to adapt to the environment, not being the Kodak of 2017, changing with your customers, and really just I'd say in a society of, and I'm a millennial, so I'm going to tie it to being a millennial. There's so many people that have an expectation of entitlement. And I think the greatest part about having business relationships is being able to go into a loan officer's building and saying, I got 5 leads for you, and all I'm asking for is to be your primary insurance provider. I'm not asking you to give me anything. I'm not trying to deliver donuts on Friday or coffee. I'm just trying to make sure that I can continue to generate business for you so that you're able to pay your bills every day, help a homeowner fulfill their dream of being able to get their first home or get their family in the home that they want. Really just being able to make a difference ultimately. It all ends up panning out for us at the end when we build these relationships, because we're able to become their provider of choice. But I mean, I look at it from beginning to end. From the time that I set my ad out there for somebody to go through and click and fill out that form, when I'm introducing something to them that they may not know is available to them, as far as different loan programs that are out there, because we're just taking the time to give them that information. And we good to go?
Yeah.
I'm not too sure what happened there. But ultimately, I mean, I'm big on the story behind the lead. And being able to see that lead from beginning to end, where somebody was going through social media and found out an opportunity that was available to them, and when they're circling back around, coming back and becoming my client as an insurance agent, I mean, it's nothing more fulfilling than that, to know that you help someone else meet their dream or their next goal. And that's, I mean, really the biggest things that when you say being competitive in your market, I think it ultimately becomes, what are you doing different from the guy next door? And I think that's really where I've been given the tools to make a difference and using those to my advantage.
Awesome. So last thing, man, before I let you go, you know, the real estate market is booming in Texas, man, North Texas and South Texas. And you've spent a great deal of time over the last recent months really digging into the real estate community and forging those relationships there in South Texas. You know, what are you doing to help your referral partners when it comes to growing their business in this market? And do you have a specific success story that you can share with us to kind of give an example of what it means to bring value to your referral partners?
Yeah, so I have a loan officer here locally that, I mean, it's closing on 4 to 5 homes a month. And ultimately, when we sat down, every lead he's getting organically is just from somebody who referred somebody over to him. I mean, his goal was really to get up to 10 to 15 homes a month. And we've been able to do that because, I mean, literally within a week we're able to generate him 30 leads, 4 new prospects. And I'd say the biggest success story there isn't necessarily the point of him being able to close on 10 leads a month right off the back, but really building that list of potential clientele that he's going to be able to work over the next couple of months. I can tell you that he's going to have an extremely busy May, June, and July because a lot of the prospects are teachers. So I mean, he's able to cater to the programs that are available to them. And I think that the biggest thing is there was a lot of grants that he had availability to for his clients. And he's been able to get a few teachers in houses that they may not have been able to because of the down payment assistance and programs that he had in place. So I'd say the success stories, I mean, goes full circle from the standpoint of him being able to reach to give out the money that's sitting there waiting for people to take, and get some of those teachers in the houses that they dreamed of. So basically doubling his production to bullet point it.
Man, that's awesome, and I love the way that you really take the time to understand your referral partner's business. Like I said earlier in the call, a lot of people, and we've all, and those listening have all heard or had the meeting where they want to get together for coffee and learn about your business, learn how I can help you grow your business, and at the end you walk away with wasting a bunch of time, because the truth is that most people, even if they have the best of intentions, they don't have the resources to actually make good on what they're saying, and they're just blowing a lot of hot steam. And what I'm hearing from you is that not only did you deliver more leads in a month than he's probably ever received in an entire year or an entire relationship from an insurance agent, but you took time to learn what products and services that he has to offer and find the specific need for that person. So it's not just like you're sending over some random leads. He specifically wants to work with teachers and has a specific loan program for teachers that you were able to say, okay, great, that's what you want, I'll go and get that. So not only being able to just help him grow his business, but actually be able to help him grow his business the way he wants to grow his business. That's a whole nother level of depth of value to bring to a referral partnership. Rather than just saying, oh, I can help you offset the cost of a mailer or an open house, like you can get so granular to be able to decide what areas of his business that he needs the most help in. A lot of people go in and want to help their business, but they can't really dig in and really act as if you're a marketing consultant for them. I mean, that's the level of depth that you're talking about providing of value to that relationship. So I think that's awesome, man. And I really appreciate you taking time today. I know you didn't have to, and again, sharing your knowledge and giving tips for folks whom you don't even know. You don't even know who's going to watch this. I think it's amazing. Speaks volume to your character. And again, I say, back when I was selling insurance, man, I never had a community where I could go and plug into people within my own company, much less people from all over the country. And I tell you, working with guys like this will really open your mind to a whole new world of possibilities. We get so focused, especially those of you that are captive, you get so hyper-focused and hyper-fed the Kool-Aid of whatever company you're at. You have no idea what's going on at other carriers and in the independent world. When I was at Liberty Mutual, I was a rookie of the year. I did great, but I didn't know what that meant. Like, what does that mean at Allstate, or what does that mean at State Farm? You might be the best in your district, but then you come in to a group like this and you see guys that are cranking out 300 or 400 applications a month. You're like, holy crap, how do you even get there? And then not only to have that, but have somebody like that open their office to you and tell you to come on in and let me show you how we do this. We've just got an amazing community, and if you're in the Texas market, it really doesn't matter if you're North Texas, South Texas, West Texas. Anthony can help you, just like we're having a meeting here together. He can work with you wherever you're at. So how would folks get a hold of you if we've got somebody saying, man, I want to work with a guy like that and I'm in Texas?
Email is probably the best. It'd be Aguilar, which is AAGUILAR at allstate.com, or on Facebook Messenger. I spend a lot of time on there because that's where my business grows the most. So it's Anthony Aguilar.
Look him up.
And one last thing I do want to say. I think that the thing that I'm most satisfied with is being able to say that I haven't bought a lead in over 4 months. And that, to me, that's the biggest win for me.
Yeah, especially if you were spending $4,000 or $5,000 a month prior. That's a $60,000 immediate bottom line growth there. So
Absolutely.
amazing. Awesome, man. I appreciate it. Papa Bill, how are you, man?
What's up? Doing great.
Hey, man. Good to see you. I know you're extremely busy, and you probably didn't have time to do this, but you did it
Never
anyway.
busy enough, man.
So I appreciate your time. But listen, man, so we have a long story together.
Yeah.
We met with through Justin, who's got an amazing brokerage there in the St. Louis area. Justin and I had met through a program that we did with the Star of New York, Frederick Eklund, and he went through that program to learn from one of the best in the business, probably best in the world. I think Frederick is probably in the top, probably 3 or 4% in the entire world. Certainly top 1% in the country. And Justin and I met through that. Actually went and spent the weekend with Frederick, and when we got back from that, he called me and introduced me to you. We had a conversation, and you decided to give it a shot, and we've been rocking ever since. So you've been through our Endless Referral Mastermind, which was before either of these two guys came around. That was really where we started our Agency Alliance programs, was really helping insurance agents build that endless referral pipeline with other business partners, and the whole deal was focused on referral partnerships. So you went through that, and then the ultimate lead generation, into the market domination, into the insurance university. So it's just like mastermind after mastermind after mastermind. And I would say, if there's something that I know in terms of marketing, you know it as well. I don't know that there's anything that I know right now that you probably don't know.
I wish.
So you're up in the St. Louis market.
Yep.
You've been in the insurance industry quite a long time, 5 years, last 5 years building your own brokerage. So I think, you've got a lot of experience. You've trained a lot of agents, and you've really crushed it in the St. Louis market. So why is it so important to you to stay on the cutting edge of technology and marketing, and why do you continue to invest thousands of dollars and countless hours in perfecting the art of lead generation and becoming a marketing guru?
Well, the answer is pretty simple, so I'm probably going to give you the longer answer. I mean, I'll get to the short answer, but I'm going to give you the longer answer. Coming from a captive, becoming independent, much like Chad did, it's a struggle. The struggle became extremely real when I was doing the same thing as I was at my captive agency. I was cold calling. Every night I had 4 cold callers in the office, and we just make phone calls out all night long. And it became very clear to me that whenever I tried to make that same phone call I made as a captive, I was actually with State Farm for those 6 years, so that's what I did there, is I was training and developing new agents coming in through the agency. The agency I worked for was the largest agency in St. Louis, so our production volume was huge. And the way we did that was making cold calls in the evening. Newer agents, I didn't really know the difference. I didn't really look outside of the box because it was working for them. The problem that I ran into, though, as transitioning to an independent agency, was that when I made that same phone call, no one knew who I was. That being said, whenever I pick up the phone and make that phone call as a captive, Allstate, American Family, Liberty Mutual, that trust is automatically implied almost with those people on the other end of the phone. Now, whenever I pick up that same phone and dial that same number, and I say that I'm with the Mathenia Insurance Group, no one knows who I am, what I do. I mean, I have to take the roundabout and explain the carriers I'm with. So it was a struggle for me in the beginning, and starting an agency with zero money coming in the door, it was just a struggle. So I had to develop and find new ways to actually create my own leads. I wanted to create something different, something no one else was doing. And that's when, Justin and I, you talked about him a little bit earlier, the agency here in St. Louis, great broker, great dude, great friend. He actually introduced me to you because we were on the same level. We wanted to do something new, something that was involving social media, that was something no one else was doing here locally. So he introduced me to you, Selling with Sean at the time. I logged onto the website. I mean, you joke about this all the time. I probably followed you. I mean, you may be able to consider it Facebook stalking, but I mean, I followed you probably for 6 months before I actually made the phone call out to actually buy the first program. And you're absolutely right about that. The first program that was designed to or geared towards creating that endless referral source is what really sparked my interest, because that's the ultimate goal. Endless referrals from loan officers, real estate agents, things like that. And then doing the Facebook leads and campaigns really took it to the next level for me. So, I mean, short answer after all that is the reason I continue to invest into you and the knowledge that you present, really the whole group, 109 insurance agents talking about the same thing 2-3 times a week, is simple. It's because it works. I mean, you've heard it from Anthony, you heard it from Chad. It works. So that's why, I mean, you have to stay on the edge with this type of marketing, and being a part of this alliance, being as part of this group is the reason why I invest into it.
Awesome, man. So, I remember a conversation, I don't know why it sticks out, but I remember a conversation last summer. You were really focused on, getting some leverage in the mortgage lender community. And I've worked with mortgage lenders for a number of years and real estate agents, And I can tell you that they get annoyed by insurance agents. They really do, because insurance agents are always there with their pins and their stress balls and their golf tees or whatever other useless tchotchkes they can come by with, their bagels and their business cards and their flyers to fill up mailboxes and offices, and they rarely, if ever, have any business to reciprocate. And that's probably the #1 complaint that I heard from mortgage lenders and real estate agents about insurance agents, and why they don't really value the partnership with them, and why they tend not to have an exclusive relationship with insurance agents. They might have a guy or two that they might say, here, check this, but it's really rare that you go to a mortgage company and part of the sales process is an introduction to to an insurance agent, because it's like, if they want to help the guy, great, but it's not that big of a deal, simply because there's no reciprocity. It's basically like, hey, let me just help this guy out. He really doesn't do much for me. Sure, he provides great value, great price, great service, but at the end of the day, that's kind of his job as an insurance agent. Like, you're supposed to do those things. That's not noteworthy, and that certainly doesn't entitle you to a referral. Hey, I do my job. Give me a referral, please. So what is it that has really helped you be so successful with loan officers and real estate agents alike in Missouri? And do you have a success story that you can share with some of the value that you've brought? I know there's tons of them, but maybe one that sticks out in your mind, that something that you've been able to start from scratch and come in and actually deliver on what you say and make a difference in their business.
Yeah, I mean, there's tons of, going back to the program that we were in, man, it was about creating leads for yourself through Facebook, and the way I thought about it is, and Chad mentioned it earlier, I say my program, I started it, was called Cookies or Cash. I mean, which do you want from me, cookies or cash? Every insurance agent comes in to the same office. I'd be in the office or the loan officer, and there'd be another insurance agent walking in behind me. Maybe he knew someone, maybe he didn't know anyone, but I mean, he had the same box of cookies. I always thought it was funny. I guess a good story was, I was in a loan officer's office, and on the counter of the reception desk was a fish bowl, and it had a little sign behind it, for a $25 gift card, drop your business card in, and I'll raffle it off once a month. Well, that was an insurance agent that knew someone in the office that got his way in and put this fish bowl up. And it was funny, as I was walking out, and it was my first real meeting with a loan officer to present the idea, simply an idea at the time, because I have never generated a loan officer lead at this time. Plenty of insurance leads, but never a loan officer lead. And I made a promise, but I felt confident because of what I learned and the other people in the group, that I would come back with leads, that you start working with me. I want to work with the entire office, but let's start with you. Let me show you what I can do, and then let's talk about moving forward. And so as we were leaving, I passed up this fishbowl again, and I said, listen, man, if I'm able to generate you 5 leads in the next month, and I didn't know if 5 was a lot or if it was too many, but if I generate those 5 leads for you in the next month, I'm going to come back here with a sign that says cookies or cash, and I'm going to set it right next to this fishbowl, and I'm going to ask you to explain to every other loan officer why that sign's there. You can drop your business card in with this guy here, the fishbowl, and he may bring you a $25 gift card to Panera Bread or wherever it's going to be from, or you can refer your business to this guy, which is me, and he'll give you cash. He's going to send you deals, send you loans. But there's so many other stories. I generate some of the biggest loan officers here in the area. I wrote down some numbers just January. One loan officer in that office, 36 leads. He closed 4 deals. He closed 4 loans off the leads I gave him. That's unheard of. I'll bring him cookies too, don't get me wrong. But I sent him deals all day. I had another loan officer I sent 29 to, closed 2. It's just a matter of getting it over to him, doing the program, step by step, and having focus on it. But it gives you a huge leverage when you're going into these offices, because I promise that no other insurance agent, unless they're in this program, and you're going to know who they are, is going to be doing that for them. It's going to be delivering leads that actually close. You know, it's amazing. I mean, there's so many success stories I could go on all day about different offices that I've been in and who I know and how I communicate with them. But I mean, it's been phenomenal.
Yeah, I think the great thing to highlight there is not only the fact that, you know, you've been able to increase their production, not just by sending leads, but sending leads that they're actually turning into applications and they're selling homes to. But I mean, you look at the amount of lead volume coming in. There's so many things, and I'm sure you guys are already doing this. Is that when you partner with somebody like Bill, who can generate 20, 30 leads a month to a mortgage lender, if you're a mortgage lender, the hardest part of your job is getting in with real estate agents, right? Like the real estate agent is to the mortgage lender what the mortgage lender is to the insurance agent. That's the lifeblood of their business. The refi game is over. So your lending tree refi campaigns are done, and if you don't have a strong referral partnership of people sending you new purchase deals, you're going to sink. And we're in probably the hottest real estate market that we've been in decades, and it's amazing to me to see that there's still mortgage lenders out there who are struggling and not hitting their goals despite being in the best economy for real estate that we've seen in decades. Like, if that's the situation that you're in, that's scary, right? Like, if not now, when will you be successful? When rates go up? Probably not. So, you can partner with somebody like Bill, and what you're able to do is then take those leads and leverage those for additional relationships and do exactly what Bill's doing for the mortgage lender, and take that up the ladder one more rung and take that to the real estate agent. And now you've built syndicates. And the great thing is that, like Anthony shared, how targeted he's able to get. There isn't a limit to the number of relationships that you can manage. It's not like a tit-for-tat deal where you have to, wait till one of your clients say, "Hey, do you know anybody that can refer me to?" You can literally set up campaigns for every single one of your referral partners, and they're all winning. And there's nobody that's getting shorthanded. There's no favoritism. You're able to deliver above and beyond to every single relationship that you have. It's not like, oh, I'm going to take the top guy to Ruth's Chris, but this other guy, he sent me one deal, so I'm going to bring him a $10 visa, like the traditional insurance agent would do, because they have to ration their business. These guys are able to turn on the leads like a water faucet to whoever, whenever, and that's just a really powerful position that that we haven't seen from the insurance industry in decades. We haven't had agents who have been able to actually come back to the market and help their referral partners. Some of the things that you look at too is not just in real estate. Like these guys are marketing experts with like motorcycle leads, car dealer leads. It really doesn't matter what it is. Business bankers, getting small businesses who are interested. A lot of these guys have run marketing social media workshops in their community. Like, they go out and teach this stuff to realtors and lenders and small business owners. So just a wealth of information from these guys, and a wealth of resourcefulness out of having a partner like this. So, Bill, you're undeniably a marketing expert, and you're probably light years ahead of the average small business owner when it comes to marketing and lead generation. What are some of the strategies that you're putting in place for your agency and for your referral partners for 2017? What are some of the cool things that you guys have to look forward to in the coming year?
Well, I guess as what I do pertains to my agency is I use it in I guess two different ways. The first one is I use it to recruit. Not only do I use it to find people or find other insurance agents who may want to move to the independent side or who are already there who are unhappy, but I also use my knowledge as a tool. When they're coming in for that interview to discuss whether or not they're going to choose my agency and whether or not we're going to be a good fit for each other, is I let them know how I generate leads. It's completely unique. a cool thing that I do is I will time myself on my lead gen. So as the interview starts, I'll flip on my lead gen. I'll let the person know in the beginning a little bit about the marketing that we do, and so I'll turn it on to my computer. And then just as the interview is ending, I'll turn my computer back on, turn my screen back on, and I'll show him how many leads I can generate in the matter of the hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, however long the interview goes. I could show him how many leads I can generate in that short amount of time, whether they're for him or whether they're for a strategic referral partner. I mean, it amazes most people, and it definitely sets my agency apart. So I also do obviously share my knowledge with all the staff in my office. So right now we have 5 sales in my office right now. I help manage the sales as well as I produce in my agency. So I do share my knowledge with them. We do a few campaigns every now and then for giveaways. I know that those are huge. Still trying to master those, and that's the pretty cool thing about it, is that you never really master anything. You're always learning, which is another reason why I'm in the insurance industry in general, is that I'm always learning. You know, one of the biggest ways that I get business is simply the referrals, and that is creating what Sean referred to as the syndicate. I keep my syndicate small in the beginning. Syndicate is really just people looking out for each other, kind of like a networking group. I call it a social media syndicate. I think I even got that from Sean. But what I do is I take my LO, that's my first point of contact. I generate leads for the LO, but in that lead I'll also ask if the person who's filling out the form has a qualified real estate partner that they're working with now. So have they found a house yet? Do they have a real estate agent? And it's just a simple yes or no question. And so when I pass that referral over to the loan officer, that loan officer is also able to give that same lead to a real estate agent if the person said no, or even if they said yes. That loan officer is able to give it to the real estate agent that we bring into our syndicate, so our small group of referral partners. And then what I'm able to do on top of that is I do social media classes once a month, and I strictly focus on loan officers and realtors. I teach them the basics about what Sean's taught us about social media, edge rank, what it is with time decay on timelines, how to organize people within your friends list to create a more business-oriented group for maybe a group of realtors that you have on your personal page as friends. And then I'm also able to get additional realtors, because the realtor is the loan officer for insurance agents. So the realtor feeds the loan officer deals, the loan officer feeds me deals. So if I'm able to keep the circle going, that's what I plan on doing. So I try to get as many realtors in using the program, using the social media class that I teach, to get that loan officer additional realtors to join the syndicate. So that's basically, you know, what I'm doing for other loan officers. I do, however, have a pretty strict plan for my loan officers that I bring in. I have it written down here, but it's production is number one for me. So how much are they producing? Because I got to know how much they're able to give me. Value. Value is huge. I never go into a loan officer without showing value first. So I always send them leads before I ask for anything in return ever. And then processes. What processes does the loan officer have? They have to be able to follow up. They have to be able to contact the leads in a timely manner. And then what can they teach me? I don't want to work with just anyone. I want to work with someone that's on the same page. So I want to make sure that that loan officer, real estate agent, can actually teach me something in return. So I hope that answered the question.
Yeah, absolutely, man.
I try to do a lot for everyone. I try to present that value first.
Awesome. Yeah, so, you know, again, I really appreciate you taking time. I think Anthony said that he lost his connection. He might be back with us. But, you know, these guys shared a ton of information with you guys, and really should have probably your wheels spinning and ideas flowing of how you can, some of the things they're doing that you probably have glossed over, or maybe you attempted that didn't work in the past. But you know, I wanted to touch on a couple points here before we hop off and kind of get your guys' input on it as well. You know, one of the things that I think has been most difficult for insurance agents is adapting to the massive amount of changes that have happened. You know, like I said, the insurance industry is slow to change and has remained virtually unchanged for the last 2 or 3 decades. The only slower changing industry I think is out there is the railroad industry. Beyond that, I'd say that the insurance is right behind it. So, I think it's great to have some what I call the breath of fresh air in this industry, and finally having some leaders out there who are getting with it, who are taking the reins, despite the fact that the company hasn't been able to provide the level of resources that they need to be successful, and going out on their own and figuring it out and finding a program like ours that they can plug into, and then be so willing to take that out to the referral partners to help them grow their agency as well. I think we've got Anthony back on. There we go. Trying to make a attendee there.
I think I'm good. You all hear me?
Yeah, you're called in, so we can't see you, but we can hear you. But I think it's very important that as you're looking for systems to plug into, or people that you can align yourself with, that you're looking for forward thinkers out there, and these guys are definitely forward thinkers when it comes to marketing and business relationships. Anthony touched on millennials, and I think it's really important that we really understand this as insurance agents, that millennials are the largest group of consumers on the planet right now. And what we have to do is be able to meet these guys and girls, the millennials, where they want to be met. They do business differently. The entire landscape of connecting with customers and marketing your agency is completely different. We were just talking in our group, these guys all came down to Dallas with us at our annual retreat in November, and we were just talking about how much has changed in the last 90 days when it comes to marketing and social media and lead generation. And it's crazy that so much has happened in 90 days. I think there's been more updates and new strategies in the last 90 days than I've seen in the last 3 years that we've been doing this. But you have to be willing to adapt to those changes, and to think that there's agents out there who haven't even begun to understand the basics of social media, how far behind the curve you're getting with every moment that's passing, and with every update and rollout that has come through, how much further behind you're getting. But the millennials are the largest group of consumers, and we have to really shift our focus. If you're going to be in this industry for the next 10 years, you're not going to do it on the backs of baby boomers. 10 years ago, 15 years ago, that's who we're after. That's great. The idea of sitting down at the coffee table and pencil closing somebody with an auto and home insurance policy, that was great. But millennials aren't doing business that way. And you're going to have to understand how to adopt your sales process, how to adopt your marketing to reach those people, because those are going to be the ones that are with you long term. It's the millennials that are getting married, that are buying houses, that are settling into their careers, that are having children, that are starting their investment plans, that are buying 529s. The baby boomers are stuck in their ways. They're with the agent they've been with for 20 years, and the last thing that they want to do is make a change with their financial advisor, change up their insurance plan. They're on coast mode, and you're after a piece of the pie that you're just simply not going to get. And what you need to do is shift that focus to the younger generation and getting on board with the folks who you can grow as your agency grows with their family, that you guys are doing this thing together and you get them early on. So with regards to millennials, what advice do you guys have, and how have you seen adopting technology really change and for the better when it comes to connecting with millennials?
I really feel it's how people do business now. It's how people want to do business. We talk in the program a lot about social media and how to use that. That's a great way to get yourself out there. But there's also emails, video emails that I'm starting to do those now. What text messages? My grandma's on text message now, and it's a mess trying to understand what she's replying back. But to be able to adapt those things into the agency and create that value that people perceive as a now value. They need things now, and I think that's where the millennials are a little bit different, because they grew up or most of their life with technology. Even the younger generation is all technology. I mean, my 5-year-old nephew can work an iPad probably better than me. I mean, it's kind of crazy. People give a lot of pushback on the millennials and not being a face-to-face type of person. But I mean, it's just the way that they know. It's the way that they grew up. So we as a business have to adapt to that type of thing and create those Facebook campaigns, do go-to live meetings like this. I mean, text messages are huge. So, I mean, that's just my take on it. But
Chad, what do you think? What have you seen different by adapting to technology? You talked about texting and reaching out to clients on a digital forefront. What have you seen change in since going from the old school ways that maybe you've been around for a long time in this industry? Have you seen things change, and what does it look like for those agents who have not adopted that? Maybe you started with 12 years ago, and they're still doing things the same way versus you who went the other way and decided to continue to change and evolve with the market.
Yeah, I think the key word there is evolve. Bill talks about adapting, and I think the 10, 12, I've been in this industry roughly 16, 17 years now, and if you'd told me even 5, 6, 8, 10 years ago that I would text a client, get information, close a policy, and email it to them without ever talking to them on the phone, I would have told you you're absolutely crazy. So I think you have two things that can work for or against you here. You can either get with that or get left behind. And the problem with agents is many agents are just scared to try new things. They're scared of compliance. They're scared of all these things that could get them in trouble for doing business this way. And the truth is, I really think the second part is you're going to see compliance evolve with this method. Because if companies don't evolve their compliance with this method, they're not going to have the sales that they once had. I'm big on text. I'm big on email. I Skype with customers. I'm 41 years old, and I would have told you you're nuts if you'd ever told me this is the way I'd be doing my agency now. But the truth is, 10 years ago, I could drop 10,000 pieces of mail and write 10 or 15,000 in premium from that. And it was very cost effective. Now you can drop 10,000 pieces of mail. You're lucky to write 3 or 4 policies. The generation is moving forward that wants to talk with you face to face and being replaced with millennials. I mean, the statistics don't lie. And the truth is, the future is millennials are the way they want to do business. In the future, that's all the way anybody will do business, because we're not far from the baby boomers pretty well not doing business anymore. So if you don't get with this, if you don't start using text and utilizing technologies and video emails and things like that, there's no way you're ever going to survive in this industry. I think compliance will catch up, but if you're not using text and you're not using email as the forefront, that's one of the reasons you're not growing. And corporate tells you to just put more money into your agency, and that's not going to help if you're not changing how you do business. So I think the way to do it in the future is don't look at how much you're spending versus look at what you're spending it on. Are you spending it on the stuff where people want to do business? Are you doing Facebook? Are you doing text? If you're not, then you're wasting your money. I think like you said, the word evolve, you have to evolve with this process or you're going to get left behind and have to close your doors.
Absolutely. Anthony, anything you want to add real quick?
Yeah, I mean, he touched on it a lot. I mean, I've closed on countless policies through text message, but I think, I mean, really the evolution of being able to contact people the way they want to be contacted. I mean, I can tell you I spend $2,500 a month, and I have an office with a real nice view. In over 6 months, I haven't had anyone. I've had 2 people walk into my office. So it's not necessarily about having a great location anymore where people walk into, but it's having the flexibility to be contacted the way people want to be contacted, whether it's text message, phone call, email. Heck, sometimes you'll do all 3 in a day. But I can say that there's countless times that I've gone through an entire process through text message before getting to the closing point. And whether it's somebody at work, I mean, they're going to have a conversation with you, because it's not taking them away from their family, from their job, but it's really allowing them to contact you with the availability that they have. So really not taking over the family, but being a part of the family.
Absolutely. And yeah, I think these guys really hit it spot on. You gotta adapt with it, and you gotta figure out what you can do. And we're not saying break compliance rules by any stretch of the imagination. I'm saying figure out what compliance says and how you can play within their guidelines if you're tied down by compliance, because there's ways that you can use technology and not get fired. And I suggest that you figure out what those are before you find yourself sending your resume out. One of the things I want to point out is that 70% of consumers indicated in 2015, guys, this is 2015 stat, 70% of consumers indicated they wanted to have access to their insurance agent on social media, that having access to their agent on social media influenced their buying decision. It's important. They want to be able to connect with you, not just through your business page, but through your personal page. That's probably one of the biggest things that we see people adopting to is the idea of like, hey, it's like social media has evolved. It's not a place that you just share pictures with family or connect with alumni. It's where you actually connect with prospects, where you connect with referral partners, where you connect with clients, where people get to actually know you. Social media is not a place that has destroyed relationships. In fact, it's been an environment and a platform that has helped us foster more relationships than ever before. And Bill talked about earlier the idea of obscurity and making cold calls and people had never heard of him. And that's probably the number one thing that's keeping you back as an agency owner or a business owner, real estate, mortgage, whatever it is. That's the number one thing holding you back is obscurity. People don't know who you are or what you do. And the thing about that is that with social media, we can connect with hundreds or even thousands of people on a daily basis and get our message across absolutely free. Of course, you can get to tens of thousands of people with paid messages, and you can get a lot further if you sink some money into it. But you'd be surprised at the amazing things that can happen simply from an organic perspective. So I appreciate you guys. I know we went a little bit over. I appreciate all of you guys' time. Connect with these guys. They're top producers. You want to have them in your corner. Whether it's Bill up in Missouri, Chad in Alabama, you got Anthony in Texas. Look these guys up. Connect with me on Facebook. Drop me a message. I'll connect you with them. Join one of our free groups. Agency Alliance, just search it. Agency Alliance. We've got social media tips for insurance agents. These guys have real estate groups. If you talk with them, they've got private groups with their referral partners where they share free strategies. You're really doing yourself a disservice not to connect with one of our guys. If you're an insurance agent, these guys would be happy to help you out, give you some tips and some pointers, because I'm sure you probably can't go to the agent down the street and ask him to open his doors and help you. But we'd love to also invite you to check out our website, agencyalliancemastermind.com, and see some of our programs. All of these guys are part of the Insurance University. We're up to 115 members in there, an amazing group, and tons of resources to really help you take your business to the next level in 2017. So again, guys, thank you so much for sharing your time with us.